Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the Imagine Dignity podcast.
Terrence here for another episode of the Imagine Dignity podcast. And I'm sitting here with my friend. What's your name, bro?
Elford.
Elford?
Yeah.
Elford, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It's amazing how we met. I was just wrapping up another conversation with a brother, and then I saw you walking down the street. For some reason, I just stopped to talk to you, man. I don't know what reason, but I know that I was supposed to. You told me you were up in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, from Florida.
Right.
How'd you get here?
Actually, I caught the bus back. And
you caught the bus here?
Yeah, from Florida. I was homeless on the streets. Well, back up, I was working up in Plymouth, South Carolina. The job came to an end. They lost the contract, and I became homeless.
So you were working before you actually became unhoused?
Right.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was working in a plant. And,
okay.
I was doing manufacturing work in a plant, and I was there 6 years.
You were there 6 straight years?
6 straight years.
How many hours were you working a week?
Man, I was working like anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a day.
14 hours a day?
Yeah.
12 to 14 hours a day. Wow.
So anyway, I lost my job and became homeless, and I said, man, I started praying to God and asked him to show me a better way, show me a different step that I need to take.
What year did you get laid off?
Well, it would happen in this year, actually, matter of fact.
Wow, you just recently
this
became
year,
unhoused.
August the 8th.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you say you were praying?
Yeah, I was praying to God, show me a different way.
Yeah.
My daughter and all my family's in Florida, so I went back to Florida.
Yeah.
Hoping for a better life, better way. And the cost of living is so high there to live, it was impossible for me to stay.
Now, when you say the cost of living is high, there's some truth to that, and I think many people would relate to that statement because we've seen inflation raise the prices of interest rates
right.
to purchase homes or even rental properties. I was talking to a lady in the city, and she said over the last couple of years her rent is almost double.
Right.
And with that being said, there's no increase in income, and so if you don't have increase in income and your rent doubles, then it kind of puts you out of a place, or mortgage, it puts you out of distance from being able to afford.
Right.
And why would you say Florida is a state that is in that place where it's hard to afford things?
I think one reason is because it's a lot of tourists. It's a resort. It's a vacation place for people.
So would you say the whole state is like that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, the attraction of the state itself kind of drives up prices of the houses.
Right.
Even for people who are native.
Even rental properties, man, the low income rental properties run you like $1,800 a month.
How many bedrooms?
Two
bedrooms.
Maybe a 3-bedroom.
Wow.
Maybe.
Wow.
Get a 3-bedroom for about 18.
Yeah.
But it's for a middle class person, it's impossible to live there.
So you were down there with your daughter and some of your family, and then what happened?
I was going to stay in the Salvation Army. They had no bed space. Due to the simple fact that even though I was born and raised there, they didn't want me to live there no more. They didn't want me to live there no more because the cost of living was so high.
Yeah.
They told me I had to have at least 90 days of residence before I could get a bed space.
90 days?
90 days of residence before I could actually get a bed space.
No.
Yeah. So that put me out on the street.
Hold up, so you work in a job in South Carolina, you get laid off.
I laid off.
You wanted to move back to Florida to be closer to your family and your family and your daughter. But yet the cost of living was high, and then you tried to seek help from a shelter, which is the Salvation Army.
Right. They wouldn't let me get a bed.
They wouldn't let you get a bed.
Because I wasn't a resident there. I had to have 90 days of residency.
In the state of Florida?
In the state of Florida.
Even though you were from there?
I was born and raised there. My birth certificate come from there. And they would not let me stay. So that put me out on the streets. Again. So I didn't even know about the storm coming. The Spirit was speaking to me, telling me, just make another move.
The recent hurricane?
Right, the first one.
The first one,
Yeah.
Elaine.
Elaine.
Yeah.
And so I left. I got a bus, came back.
So
I came back to Greenville.
Like, you're just recently back in Greenville.
About 3 weeks.
You've been here 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. This is I think my second day in Greenville, and I had no idea I was going to run into you.
Right.
Me and my brother drove up from Atlanta yesterday, hoping to shoot season 2 of the Imagine Dignity podcast, and I was just praying that God would. I always pray because I never know who I'm going to interview, just for me to run into the right person. And you've been here 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Started working 2 days later.
Oh, you got a job again. Yeah. Congrats, bro.
Yeah.
What are your hopes?
Try to work, save all the money I can. I don't want to rent no more. I'm 53 years of age, and
it's time to own something.
I got to try to buy me something.
Yeah.
So something I can leave my daughter.
Yeah.
When I leave here, she can have something. If she sell it, do whatever she want with it.
Yeah. Man, you know what sticks out to me about you, man? It seems like you just have like a peace about yourself right now.
I am, man.
Given all of the stuff that you've told me, man, I think that is pretty remarkable. What is driving that peace in you right now?
For one thing, I'm a God-fearing man. I love the Lord.
Yeah.
I go to church every Sunday.
Every Sunday?
No matter what happened to me, no matter my circumstances, no matter my shortcomings or whatever I go through, I always look up to God.
Yeah.
I always have faith and confidence that He's going to bring me out, because He never left me nor forsake me yet.
And you know what's really powerful about that statement and just your story, because you're also a survivor. You were recently telling me that you also had a stroke.
Right.
And I was telling you, I don't fully relate, but I relate in that my father, who just recently transitioned in January, had a stroke back in the day, and I know how hard it was for him to rehabilitate. But how did you come out on the other side of your situation?
Praying.
Yeah.
Praying.
Was it unexpected?
Yeah. I had got off work one evening.
Yeah.
And I was pretty tired. I was having headaches, but I just thought it was stress headaches.
Yeah.
I went home, fixed me something to eat, and I was by myself. And I lived in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
I passed out, not knowing what happened.
Hold up, you passed out?
Yeah, passed out.
But you were by yourself?
By myself in my house.
Who found you?
Well, I came back through. So when
wow.
I come back through, stumbled into my kitchen and got me some cold water. And every time something happened to me, the Spirit be leading me.
Wow.
And so the Spirit led me to get some water, and I got some water, ice cold water. And I came down enough to call EMS, and I called the ambulance, and they came and got me, and they said, "Hey man, you had a stroke. We're gonna have to meet you in the hospital."
Wow.
I said, "What?" And I was only like late 40s then.
Late 40s,
yeah.
Which is also a message too. I'm a black man. I'm a little younger than you, but thinking about how important it is for us to regularly check up and check ourselves out, because that happened unexpectedly.
Right.
But you came out on the other side, which I thank God for. Yeah. And you're here now.
Right.
Man, this is the second season of the Imagine Dignity podcast, and this season I've really been focusing in on how many cities and states are actually creating laws to target those who may not have an address, because they don't really understand, right? There's this stigma about homelessness itself that suggests that if you don't have an address, then something must be wrong with you. But my opinion is you don't know the person's story.
Right.
Like, a person may not know that you were working 6 years and you got laid off, and that was connected to how you became unhoused.
Right.
How you traveled across the country to another state, tried to get a bed, but was denied because you hadn't been there 90 days.
My own hometown.
I think we're at a pivotal moment in history where we need more empathy, more compassion, more understanding, more of the love of God towards people as they walk through the most difficult moments of their life. I see that being a part of what I'm trying to get my life towards, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation with you and many other people. Have you ever had anybody treat you bad for not having an address?
Oh yeah, all the time. Just because a lot of times I wear my backpack to work.
Yeah.
So I keep my personal belongings in it.
Yeah. They
automatically assume I'm homeless, which I am, because
But you have a place to stay
I have
now.
a place to stay,
Yeah.
but you know, it's still considered as homeless, but
Yeah.
I do have a roof over my head, try to get my own place.
And you're working.
Yeah.
When people judge you like that, what does that do to you?
It make me feel bad, man. It make me feel something inside where I think, well, no one care no more. You know, even the cops don't care about you no more. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
They look for a reason to stop you. You could be walking, they want to pull you over.
Yeah.
You know, that's not fair. You know, that's not
fair.
right. This is a free country. You have the right to go anywhere you want to go. You know? They don't have the right to do that. You know, so
That's happened to you before?
Yeah, plenty of times.
How do you respond to people when they are mean?
I kind of laugh and just not laugh at them, just to myself, and
Just kind of brush it off.
I just brush it off,
Like-
and I move on.
Would you say you see them as being ignorant and unaware?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Sometimes you have to not necessarily ignore it, because it's important to acknowledge how things make you feel, but like not allow it to get to you where it stops you from your dreams and your goals and your desires.
Right.
What would you want people to know about homelessness who may not be unhoused, who may judge others for not having an address?
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in the homeless people's shoes.
Right.
Because you never know the circumstances. You never know what they're going through.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of reasons why people are homeless. It's not always because of drugs, alcohol.
Right.
It's other reasons.
Right.
A lot of times, homelessness drive people to drugs and alcohol because it's stressful. It's stressful.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah, and so
Like I
don't judge. You know?
Yeah, don't judge. I had one person was telling me not too long ago that they had gone 4 days without eating, and they were asking a person to help them get a sandwich. And you know what the man told this person? Did you graduate high school? Just ignorance, man. You know, and it's like overlooking the fact that this is a child of God,
Right.
a human being,
Right.
somebody who is worthy and deserving of dignity and respect. Asking something that is dismissive and demeaning it's just beyond me, man.
Right.
What's the nicest thing somebody has ever done for you?
Well, actually, this was when I wasn't homeless.
Okay.
It was Christmas of last year.
Okay.
I was going to buy groceries,
Yeah.
and the lady
Yeah.
paid for my $200 groceries.
Oh, wow.
And I had the money and pulled it out, and she said, "No, sir, don't pay for it."
Just out of the blue.
Yeah, she said, "I will pay for it for you." And that brought tears to my eyes because I felt like there's somebody out there still have a heart.
That still have a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that's what the message is with this moment and, you know, our time talking today. You never know what somebody's going through, and it's important to have a heart, and generosity still matters, man.
Right.
Like, you don't have to know a person to express kindness to them.
Right.
You don't have to know a person to express love or the love of God to
Right,
them, and you don't have to know a person just to be just a decent human being, man.
Right,
You know what I mean? Yeah. What made you want to have this conversation with me today, bro?
I just felt like the Spirit was telling me to do it.
Yeah.
I need to. There's some things that not being heard,
Yeah.
and something was in me that this person, certain people out there is going to hear what I had to say,
Yeah.
and they're going to change.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, brother, I appreciate you for being on the podcast today.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless you, man. Elford's story is powerful. It is heartbreaking, but it's a story that is happening across this country. He talked about how he worked a job and was doing well for himself, had access to housing, and all of the things that, you know, are required to have any type of stability and wellness. But then he talked about how he got laid off a job and how that led him to homelessness. Another thing that really stood out to me about Elford's story was not only his determination and his courage to be vulnerable, but also his hopes and his dreams, his willingness to want to work and find dignity through work. Elford's story is one that is oftentimes overshadowed by the stigma of thinking everybody who is unhoused either has a drug addiction or a mental health challenge, when in actuality, there are more people who've actually come into the plight of homelessness based on job loss. Elford's story should remind us that there are people who've never been homeless in their lives or experienced homelessness that are, having difficulty finding stability in work, but also finding stability in housing. And I hope you are reminded that as you've watched Elford's story, that, as he said, homelessness can happen to anyone. You could be one bad situation, one occurrence, one event, one job loss away. And I think that we need to do a better job at just considering how we view every single person who is actually going through this experience, because every single person has their own unique story.